And a hearty North Carolina mountain welcome to episode 28 of Ralph's Stuff. Tonight, camera mount test. We're testing a new camera mount via safari through West Icefall into deepest Icefall itself and home to Alexander via the New Leicester Highway. An exciting journey, and I hope you ride along with us and enjoy it because we'll be making tracks. Here we go. Hello, I'm Ralph Roberts, and this is the Lieutenant Colonel, shock and all on four-wheel drive. He's my SUV, and he stars in the Rapid Ralph Runs the Roads, and also tonight in this episode of Ralph's Stuff. I hope you enjoy it, because we're on the road. If you're interested in producing television shows and having them broadcast on almost any subject, then contact URTV for more information, urtv.org. Here in Icefall, North Carolina, Channel 20, Public Access TV. It's a way of life. Enjoy. My new car mount arrived on April 6th in the big brown truck. It's a bar that connects to the headrest supports. Very safe, very useful. You can have, as pictured there, you can have two cameras mounted at the same time, much better than the suction cup I've been using on the window. So we decided to test it out since we had several errands Pat and I to run on Friday, April the 6th. First errand was to give the Lieutenant Colonel a bath. He'd been getting a little dirty. I wish I'd waited 2 or 3 days now because, of course, it snowed the night of April the 6th, so he's getting dirty again. However, we stopped to go through a robotic car wash. In fact, it's owned by one of our fellow producers here on Channel 20, so we like to patronize it, and besides, it does a good job. And of course, I'm also fascinated by anything that's automated or computer controlled. I've written some books about things like that, and it's amazing now that automation is reaching down into everyday life, like the simple task of washing your car. And we're getting suds thrown on the car by the automated car wash, and we're waiting for a rinse. Somewhere out there, gears are turning. The computer brain is whirling. There we come. Now we're getting the water on, and I saw there goes a brush by, another one, and we're making progress. The dirt is being slooshed off the vehicle. The Lieutenant Colonel's becoming clean and ready for inspection again. And as the soap gets rinsed off, we're just about ready to go. Looking good, Colonel, looking good. Okay. The device to the right there, by the way, lower right, is Karen, the GPS unit. And you can see her map changes as we move. She's in real-time contact with 7 or 8 satellites at any one time in the GPS system. We're on Patton Avenue West now, heading down the long hill. Straight ahead of us, way out in the distance, is the Grove Park Inn, one of the landmarks of Icefall. And you can see Sunset Mountain and Bowcatcher and the other mountains that exist right in the middle of Icefall there. You can see there's lots of houses on them now. It's unfortunately development continues to go up the ridge lines. But I've always enjoyed the tremendous view you get coming down the long hill from where Haywood Road intersects with Patton Avenue West down to this area here where Highway 63, which is the New Leicester Highway, turns to the left. See the sign for Leicester on the right? It's Leicester, not Leicester or Leicester, like so many newcomers try to pronounce it. It's Leicester, just like the old Elizabethan English pronunciation. So now we're headed on in toward Icefall. We're going east. This is actually Highway 19 and 23, 19-23. I think it's also alternate 70 or something, but it's quite a few. Yeah, it's 74A, 74 alternate, and you saw the 1923. Now we're approaching the Smoky Park Bridge, except instead of going across the bridge into downtown Icefall, you can see the skyline of Icefall there, which alas has not changed in the last 40 years. But we're going on down towards the old stock market. In the case of Icefall, the stock market was didn't trade in bonds and securities and so forth, but rather in cows and pigs and horses. It used to be it's closed now, but used to be quite important to the economy of the area. I can remember when I was a little boy, we sold quite a few cows through that through the stockyard. And so did all our neighbors. It was, again, extremely important mode of income for us. But times have changed and it's gone on. That facility to the left was the Buncombe County Maintenance. I think that's one of their maintenance trucks in front of us. Has permanent tag. The old Stockyard Cafe, which I've eaten in, has been long closed, and that was where they auction off the cows and the other livestock to the right of us now. As we wait our turn to cross the French Broad River, we're way down below the Smoky Park Bridge where most people cross the river, and going across the bridge now and across the French Broad. That red building up to the in front of us was Chesterfield Mills, Earl Chesterfield Mills, for a long time. And we had a number of other businesses down here that are that are long since gone. Earl Chesterfield Mills ground various types of grains, and we used to buy cow feed from them occasionally when I was young, back in the 1950s. But even before that, back in the early part of the 20th century, there were a lot of cotton mills down through here. The area up above was called Factory Hill, or sometimes Chicken Hill. Has quite an interesting history as we pass under the bridge here. That guy is not exhibiting good survival traits. I moved out of his way, but perhaps the next guy won't. We were going out to eat at a restaurant a little bit farther out there, so now we're heading back. It was quite good too. There's some good barbecue to be found along the French Broad. A lot of these old buildings now are being filled by wannabe artists that sorry, I've seen some of their so-called art. I'm not a supporter of the way they're using the river buildings right now, but hopefully that'll improve. The Smoky Mountain Park Bridge ahead of us, you can see it up above, and we're going to be passing under it and going up and getting on I-240 through Icefall to run another errand here in just a moment. Don't know who that guy is. He has about as much hair as I do, at least on top of his head. I don't wear a beard. Did have a mustache many years ago, but got rid of it. And as we go under the Smoky Park Bridge right now, And we're heading towards the old railroad bridge, which has been there since the early 1900s and still supports train traffic quite nicely. I saw a train going over the other day. That cross is because someone lost their life there. It's a dangerous place, especially when it's wet, because water collects in puddles right under the in the low area under the bridge, and you can lose control if you go through there too fast. And railroad tracks going across the road, those are the ones that go on down through Woodfin. But we're going to turn right here and go up and get on the that's future 26 up there. All right, actually maybe bypassed by the big bridge they're going to build over the river. No one's quite sure exactly how it's going to go yet. But right now this is what they call future 26. You can see there was a 26 sign there, and of course go also on 40, and now we'll be entering on 240. 240, use right lane. We are in the right lane. Okay, coming around the curve, and we'll come down. This is a bit hairy place sometimes, especially during rush hour, to get into traffic on 240. You gotta merge in as best you can. This is on a Friday afternoon, about 3 o'clock or so. But even so, there's still respectable amount of traffic. Nothing like though in the evenings. From 4:30 to 6:30 or so, it's not a good place to be, believe me, especially on a weekend on Friday. So we're going through downtown Icefall now, passing the Montford Avenue exit, and we're going over to Merriman Avenue to pick up some office supplies at that famous or infamous office supply store, depending on your opinion of the sign. Personally, I think it's okay, and that there's a lot of furor over nothing from some of the yuppies that moved into town recently. Okay, now we're finished with our errands, and we're heading towards home, coming up onto I-240 from Broadway. This place is not quite as bad to get in because you can build up a little speed, and going up the hill it seems to slow people down enough where you can get in easily. So we're now on I-240 and moving along nicely. Beautiful view of the mountains out there, looking out west towards the towards Mount Pisgah, Frying Pan, which is the mountain to the right of Pisgah, and numerous other mountains. Blue Ridge Parkway runs up along through there. It's a wonderful place to go. We're normally, in going home, I'd take the Woodfin exit here and go down the river and cross at Craigie to go over to where I live. However, for reasons I'm not quite sure of, I think we stopped at the grocery store or something. We decided to go on out Patton Avenue and take the New Leicester Highway home. And here we go across the Smoky Mountain Bridge. This is a dangerous place because people always seem to wait until they get on the bridge to start swapping lanes. Yeah, I know, we just did it too, but I know why. We had to stop at one of the big box stores here. That's why we came this way. Okay, that mystery solved. Had to pick up some stuff. And past Westgate, that was Icefall's first shopping center. I played in the high school band in 1964 when the shopping center was officially dedicated, although it had been opened for 5 or 6 years before that. My first city job was at the last 2 years I was in high school, 63 and 64, was at a department store at Westgate. It's out of business, so I can mention its name, I believe. It was W.T. Grant, store number 1065. I'll never forget that. And I was a stock boy. I got to open boxes in the back and bring stuff out and price it and put it out for sale. And I think I would finally, after several raises, got up to $1 an hour. Of course, that was pretty decent money back in the 60s. And we're stopped here at the red light on Patton Avenue West, waiting for it to change. Patton Avenue on Friday and Saturday nights is the place to cruise if you're in high school today. It's even made national news not long ago over the way the high school kids come out and drive back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, but they enjoy it. I know when I was a kid, we cruised not so much on Patton Avenue because this place was still pretty much undeveloped, but more Tunnel Road and Buck's Restaurant and things like that. Those of you who were here in the 50s and 60s know what I'm talking about. Babe Malloy's and those great places that were there, which are no more, alas. That guy turned off, so we get to move up 1 micron farther. Icefall definitely needs more roads. It's Patton Avenue West alone should be about 5 or 6 lanes per side just to keep things moving. It's only going to get worse as more and more people pour in. But it's a pretty nice day today, and there are things blossoming like there to the right as we pass it by. However, again, this was on April the 6th, and on the night of April the 6th it started snowing, and on the morning of the 7th, the next Saturday morning, we had something like an inch of snow out in Alexander where I live. And I think the ground was white here in Iceville also. Unusual snow for this time of the year, but not totally unheard of. Our biggest snows, like the blizzard of '93, have been in the month of March, and we've had some significant snowfall in April in past years. So we're creeping slowly up here towards the turnoff to the New Leicester Highway, which is really, if we're in the western part of Iceville, if we're in West Iceville, this is the quickest way for us to go home. And you saw the sign there to the right. So we're waiting on the person there to turn, and then we'll be on that great byway, the Leicester Highway. There's a new Leicester Highway, an old Leicester Highway, and a Leicester Road, just to confuse you totally. But I drive almost every day on all 3 of them. So now we're going out the New Leicester Highway, and I can actually, this is only achieved 4-lane status back in the 1990s, but I can actually remember when this was a 1-lane or 2-lane dirt road, mostly a 1-lane, I think. We came to town sometimes this way, and it was an arduous trip back in the early 50s. And then they paved it, and for many, many years it was a 2-lane road and totally unsuited for the amount of traffic on it. Now it's 4-lane, and actually with the 5th lane there in the center in some places for turning. But it's still not really up to handling all the traffic. And again, if I may say so, we need more and better roads in town. Okay. Getting close to where you turn to go to Irwin High School, which was my alma mater. Graduated from there in 1964. That was a few months ago, to say the least. No zoning. We mean that out here. No zoning, guys. No zoning. Zoning doesn't work, has never worked, never will work. No zoning. So, from that, you might be able to infer my position on zoning in Buncombe County. And we're coming up on where we turn to go over to our house, Mount Carmel Road. And we'll be getting off the 4-lane and onto regular 2-lane road, which needs to be 4-lane. There's getting so many people out here. I keep bringing that subject up, but it's true. Okay, getting ready to turn. Icefall is eyeing this area, wanting to annex it, of course. But we're trying to get the town of Leicester established. I believe it's in the state legislature now. If we can do that, like Woodfin stopped Icefall from expanding north, we can stop Icefall from going northwest and west. So anything to stop the greed of the big city is good. We want to keep the life we have as much as we can. Okay, heading out Mount Carmel Road, which is a relatively short road. It's only about a mile long. Dominated mostly by Mount Carmel Church, Mount Carmel Baptist, good church. My home church, and not ashamed of that. In fact, I'm proud of it. And we're going down the curve. Now, when I was a kid, again in the 50s, all this area over to the right, which is now a huge housing development, was a single dairy farm. And the barn was right there along the road, so you can see the cows and what cows do, and etc., etc. But that's long gone, and there's lots of houses down in there. It's the church on the left and the Family Life Center on the right, which was recently completed. Nice view out there. You can see the mountains in the distance. Oh, that's a beautiful tree. Don't ask me what kind it is, but it's pretty. I know that. And we're coming up on the intersection with the old Leicester Highway. As you will recall, we quite recently turned off of the new Leicester Highway. And the old Leicester Highway, of course, goes to Leicester, but just before it gets to Leicester, it turns into the new Leicester Highway. So I hope I've totally confused you on that, but it's actually rather logical. That's the old Leicester Highway that we're going to be crossing as soon as the light changes. This light has been here only 3 or 4 years or so now. It's the closest red light to where I live. It's about, we have about a mile or so to go. So, the red lights are getting too close. But we need red lights. We need, and do I dare say it again, more roads. Yeah, better roads, better roads. And this, by the way, is the end of Mount Carmel Road. The road changes as soon as we go across it to Old Number 20. That's the official name of the road. There is no new Number 20 so far as I know. And I'm not sure where the number 20 came from. Perhaps it was a county number, because I looked up NC Highway 20 and it's down east somewhere. So this couldn't have been old NC 20, it's just old number 20. And of course it was dirt road when I was a kid too. But it got paved probably in the late 50s or so. I used to ride my bicycle out to the store here a lot. And when I was also a kid, or at least in high school, and was allowed to go to town by myself, I'd walk out before I learned to drive and got a license. I'd walk all the way out to the store there that we passed, and you could take the bus into town for 20 cents. And I could take a couple of dollars and go into town, watch a movie, have something to eat, and ride back and have a good time. Was quite proud of myself. Now it costs a lot more to do stuff like that. It's beautiful going through the woods here. Looks real nice. No, there's none of those pretty purple trees. I'm going to find out what kind of tree that is. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to guess. We come up over the hill. And down, that's Macedonia Church ahead of us. I grew up in that church, although we no longer go there. In fact, my dad gave the land that the church is built on back in the late 40s. Now, this is Carl Roberts Road. That was my father's name. And the road was named after my dad because this used to be his field, and it's a housing development now, and adjacent to my property. And we thought we'd just ride out here, see what was happening. There's a lot of houses under construction, and it's interesting to see how things are progressing. The road ends in turnabout down here, so we're to the end of the road. We're going to turn around and go back, and then we'll go down to where I live. So here we go, swinging around. The lieutenant colonel is pretty nimble. He might not be able to turn on a dime, but he doesn't need a whole lot more change than that to turn. Four-wheel drive, shock and all. As you can guess, I enjoy him. He's a good SUV. And I get in some places back up in the mountains where he comes in right handy. As we come back out, this is to the main road. This is Jenkins Valley Road, by the way. Look at the mountains back to the west. Neat. That's Doggett Mountain, and we can go over Doggett Gap into the Kingdom of Madison, and Tennessee's quite close beyond that. As we turn on Macedonia Road, somebody bent the sign up there. Hope they replace it soon. And we go down the hill, passing my warehouse. And we could have turned in there. That's one of my driveways, but we're going down to the second driveway just because I wanted to. And we're looking at my property there in the old barns, and swinging around and going out to park in front of the warehouse because we picked up some stuff at the big box store in town that needs to be unloaded. And here we come around. So I hope you've enjoyed riding with us and testing out the new camera mount. I'm pleased with it. I need to turn the stabilizing system on in the camera, but other than that, it's good. Go to ralphwroberts.com to see this show again.